The question is, how do we raise our credibility in the market? How do we help share with prospects that we are different from every other sales rep that's connected with them? Content, the key to credibility. Hey there, my friends, Dan Deegan here again. And listen, if you're having trouble standing out from the crowd, if you're having that challenge that comes with being different in the market, there's one thing that I've found, and I got kind of 3 strategies that to go with it. And then I'm also going to give you 5 different tools and frameworks to build out this strategy. So stick around for the next couple minutes because we have got some serious stuff to talk about. Hey there, my friends. So how do we, as logistics sales reps, right? How do we create content that actually converts prospects into desired buyers? And it was a question that I really started pondering a couple of years back because I love creating content. I love doing video. I love being creative on that end. But how does it relate to getting clients? And not only that, but how do I make it part of my big 5 moves that I want to do every day? So I came up with a strategy and it's been working like gangbusters lately, and I wanted to share it with you because I truly believe it's one that can really separate you from the crowd. And to give you a quick story before I get into this, this all happened a couple of years back when I sat down with a prospect and we went over just our initial, sales call, sales meeting, pre-COVID. And we agreed that we would kind of go back, we'd look at some of the processes that they were doing, and we'd get back in touch in about a week. So we scheduled another in-person meeting for a week later. And you know what? The most amazing thing that happened is the week after I walked in and she put all the lanes down on the table. She said, okay, so this is what I want you to start with. The next question that I asked, some of you might freak out and say, why would you even ask that? But the next thing out of my mouth was, why are you doing this right now? Like, we haven't got into very many details, but you immediately want me to move the business. She said, you know what? When we finished the last meeting, I Googled you and I realized you're more than just a sales rep. See, at that time, I was interviewing every author of the book I read, and I was recording the video of the interview, and I was putting it out online for people to see. So every single author, I recorded these pretty cool videos just explaining the book. So she saw a different side of me that wasn't part of the logistics sales rep side, right? So that's very important to understand as we get into this video. Now let's get into the teaching part of this video. Okay, so as I said before, there's really 3 pieces to this content to add credibility thing that I was talking about, okay? So number 1 is if we as sales reps don't think that our prospects are Googling us before any major decision, I think we got it all wrong. Today's day and age, everybody wants to know who they're dealing with. Everybody wants to know the credibility of the people they're dealing with. And when somebody Googles you, and here's an experiment, do it right now. Google yourself right now. What shows up? You see, there's different platforms that rank higher in SEO, and LinkedIn is, from what I found, has been the highest one to rank in an SEO if it's not ranked for video. But we're going to talk about all that in a minute because I'm going to give you those frameworks. So the idea is when somebody Googles you, what is the first things that come up? And how do those first things that come up differentiate you from every other person in your market, from every other salesperson, from every other broker, from every other freight forwarder, from every other dispatch company, from every other freight broker, whatever it is? How does that differentiate you from them? That's number 1, right? If you Google yourself and nothing comes up, now is an even bigger time for you to get into the content world because content is truly king. Number 2, and this is probably even more important than number 1. Number 1 is obviously we go and we Google, we understand where we need to start. But number 2 is for every day, for the next 30 days at a minimum, I want you to read 1 article. And then in that article, share a 2 to 3 paragraph, maybe even 2 to 3 sentences, depending on what the depth of the article is, about what your thoughts and perspectives are on the article. There's a reason I say this because you see, sharing an article or sharing some of these great quotes that people share, they're fine for engagement, but what do they really add from a credibility standpoint to your prospect? And this is the strategy for content for credibility, is what can you say, what can you share, what is your perspective of that article that is actually going to drive credibility forward for you? So when you share, be truthful, be honest. And here's the thing, don't share to what, or don't, your description or how you see the article, your perspective of that article, it's super important that you don't write the perspective based on how you want people to be like, oh yeah, I agree with you. Like if you don't agree with the article, say you don't agree with the article. Have your own voice, in other words, is the most important part of this step number 2 that I could ever teach you. When you have your own voice, you attract prospects that see that voice. You don't want to attract every prospect because not every customer is a good customer for you, for your specific mentality. So when we are creating these articles, when we're running through this, think about what you see as the end result. You know, if you're reading an article about capacity tightening in this market or that market because of this and this and this, what is your perspective? Hey, in 6 months, this is still going to be an issue. If you're in this area, you're going to want to do X, Y, and Z. And you lay out kind of a framework or how you feel the prospect or any sales rep should respond to this situation. That is what drives your credibility because you have your own voice. But our opinions is what makes us different. So if you have an opinion about an article, a customer might not agree to it, but you know what? When you're on the call, they could say, hey, I read that article or that synopsis that you wrote on the article. What makes you think that? And then now you have a talking point for that specific article or for that specific piece of content. So do this for 30 days straight. Just wake up every morning, just pick an article, read it, and jot down the first or couple of things that come to mind. And how does that apply? How could you frame that to increase your credibility in the marketplace? That's the lens at what I want you to look at all of this synopsis or copy that you're going to write is. Okay, and number 3, the third reason is because this actually kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Education is the key for us to continuously improve in this industry, right? When we stop our education, it's like they say, the most successful people read a book a week, right? Because they're constantly adding new ideas, strategies, philosophies, tactics, frameworks, information they're downloading it and they're utilizing it at different ends. So if you're reading an article every day, you're actually killing 2 birds with 1 stone because you're reading the article, you're gaining education, plus you're adding to your credibility, your image, and your branding in the marketplace. 2 incredibly amazing things. Now, it's about consistency, so be consistent with it, okay? Now, let's talk about content strategy. And I'm going to give you 5 things that you can do for content strategy that I think will absolutely determine the next level results that you're going to get, okay? So number 1, I've already said it, have your own voice. Share your own opinion, what you think about it. Make predictions, be wrong, do all of the above. Because I'm telling you right now, none of that matters. It's about your credibility. And those that have their own voice, those that do not move their voice to meet everybody else's wants and desires are the ones that separate themselves from the crowd. We all do it. When we try and conform to what we think everybody else will want, that's when we just become a generalist. We want to be individually known as the person to go to for X, Y, and Z. Number 2 that I want to talk about when it comes to content strategy, pick 5 topics and only 5 topics that you're going to talk about, right? Think about these topics. What really drives you? What are you passionate about? 5 topics in the industry, whether capacity, industry, personal development, personal growth, business, sales, strategy, all that kind of. Pick 5 topics and only post on those 5 topics. Number 3 in content strategy, if you're really looking to get known, start with LinkedIn articles, not just as a post. Those articles get SEO'd and those articles show up in search rankings. When somebody Googles you, those articles will show up. Most of the time, if you have a LinkedIn profile, it's usually one of the first things that show up when you Google your name. So utilize that platform to reference it back to maybe some point in your business. Tell a situation, this moves right into the next one where, give that credibility. I did this, this, and this, and because of this article, I thought of this, this, and this, and I was able to get results for a customer doing this, this, and this. Don't be afraid to share those results. Right? Because people are going to read it and they're going to say, man, I have that problem and you know how to solve it. I might be able to get a hold of you. So number 4 goes right in line with number 3. I talked about share your struggles, share some of the challenges, share some of the things you've learned in your growth. Because, Gary Vee coined this, Document, don't create, right? People love that documenting of you of getting to the end goal that you're looking for. So document that. Start sharing those struggles. Let people know you're human. And again, you're separating yourself from the crowd, because no salesperson wants to talk about struggles. They only want to talk about the benefits, the bonuses. Hey, this is what I got in my first commission check. That's all they want to talk about. They want to talk about the struggles that got them there. And number 5, this is a real advanced strategy, but my firm belief is every single logistics sales rep should have their own website, their own personal brand, because in the end, companies are not buying the logo you fly, they are buying you as the brand. So if you understand web development, WordPress, Wix, GoDaddy, Site Builder, all these things, buy yourname.com or yourname.ca and use that as your personal branding. Put it in your email subject line. Here, you want to check out who I am? This is who I am. You put it in. You write these articles that I'm talking about, and the paragraphs, you share them on your blog and all this other stuff. Because it really, in essence, what it does when you create your own website, it gives you your own distribution channel for unfiltered content, right? You're not going to get flagged by a community. This is your content, and you can drive people back to your website so you have your own personal brand. That is so important in today's day and age. So if you like this video, if it helped you, if those strategies, the 5 strategies on how to create that content and the 3 structural frameworks that I just gave you, if you liked it, make sure you subscribe. It's somewhere around here. I'm going to get it sooner or later. Share this video with somebody that you feel needs to enhance their credibility, their image, their brand in the market, and you feel this is the proper way to do it. Share it with everyone you know. Send it out to your entire email list. Share it with everyone. Get the word out, because we are in the process of changing 10,000 sales reps' lives. That's our mission. 10,000 sales reps doing $1 million GP. That's what the mission is. So see you next time. And until then, my friends, remember, go out there, make every call educational, crush your sales, and you're only one sales sequence away. And that sales sequence might start with credibility.